Dygard, Myrna Guidry, Danny Hernandez, Dr. Patricia Allen, Kendall Baker, and Bridget Wade to stand at this time. I would not be here to be able to do this work without their support and their consistent governance as we move forward. Thank you, ladies, and one gentleman for your support and your work. I'd also like to really introduce you all, because a majority of them are new. I'd like for my executive cabinet to stand. This group has been tirelessly working hard. My executive cabinet, could you please stand at this time? Dr. Sean Bird, Wanda Paul, Denise Watts, and I know I'm Jeremy, Grant Skinner, Max Mole, August Hamilton, Scott Gilhausen, and I think I may be missing one more, but they are, in my opinion, one of the best executive staffs, cabinets in the country. We're very fortunate. A number of them moved here to do this work with me, to be able to get it done for Houston children, and I'm very excited to have them here. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce, even though I do have a board of trustees that's technically, they're my bosses, but I have a real boss. And I lay down with her every night. My wife, Kyla, if you would stand at this time, I appreciate you making this happen, and the transition of our children that are HISD students here as well. So welcome to my first, and hopefully first of many, HISD State of the School addresses. And while I say hopefully in jest, superintendents aren't always known for longevity. And I say that deliberately. I hope every day as a superintendent in this school district that I'm able to move forward in ensuring that young learners are experiencing school for the first time, students who have finally come back to school and stayed back in school, in classrooms for a full academic year, to graduating seniors getting ready to make their own way in just a few months, It is impossible to be an educator, to work with children every day and not be hopeful as we are in this room together. My team and I thought a lot about the remarks that should be made today, and we reflected on where we are and where we've been as a school system. But this year will be more than ever one of those years that we have to focus on what we must do, the important choices we must make, and the road ahead, very important. I'd prefer to reflect on the accomplishments of our schools by celebrating some individual students and HISD team members at this time. Their example is representative of all the great things that are happening in HISD today. There is no better place to start than with student performers. Did we not have some wonderful student performers to start out with today? Incredible. Francisco Cardenas is the student that we heard from Meyerland Performing Arts Middle School, and he recently even performed on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and I have to follow him. Is that crazy or what? This is a tough, of course, act to follow. Our band, or our performers that were here, I share the road ahead with you, and I share on behalf of them. Now, as I think about our performers and Francisco and his classmates and why we are all here today, let's give all our performers another big round of applause for what they do, how they do it, and how they learned it. Despite all of the challenges that these unprecedented times have presented us, our students are resilient, that we've learned, and they continue to thrive at a high level. We had more than 11,000 students graduate in the spring of 2021. We also had 560 students graduate this past summer. In this past fall, we had students graduate from all 40 of our high schools in HISD. Students like Gabriela Rodriguez from Carnegie Vanguard High School, who despite the loss of her father, continues to push through and be able to move forward and graduate in May like we expect. Her father's words that he gave to her were precious. He said, "You're stronger, and you're stronger than you know." And that's her fuel to keep going on a daily basis. Our Merge program that many of you know about is now in its 12th year. Helps students with very little resources to receive full scholarships to top universities and colleges. Last year alone, 100% of Merge students were accepted into four-year institutions and collectively received more than $117 million in financial aid. As for the upcoming class of 2022, more than 70% have already applied to college. And we have 47, I repeat, 47 National Merit Program semifinalists in HISD, something that is unprecedented, I'm extremely proud of. Next, to our entire team of HISD teachers and principals, you may never fully appreciate the difference that you all make in your students' lives on a daily basis. You are the lifeblood of this school district, and we value you, and I am boundlessly grateful to all that you do on a daily basis. Thank you so much. Now, today I get to recognize just a few of our exceptional educators. Would our HISD Principals of the Year and Teachers of the Year please rise at this time? There they are. Now, at this time, with the rest of our phenomenal teachers and principals of HISD, please stand at this time. Give them a big applause. They are why our students thrive, and we appreciate you, we value you, and we love you. Now, I'd like to share a few examples of teachers, staff, and students in action. Our HISD outreach specialists continue our boots-on-the-ground efforts, making sure students who are the most at risk of never returning back to school or going back for those diplomas, through phone calls, text messages, and home visits, these dedicated support staff do everything possible to move forward and get the job done on a daily basis. And I'm so extremely excited to recognize them at this time and the work that they continuously do to get it done for children. Please give them a big hand at this time as well. Now, moving forward, we know that as we think about the state of education in HISD and our focus on what our students continue to do and how they do it, I'm looking forward to sharing with you what this looks like in the form of our 5-year strategic plan. Of course, as we move forward in these days, hopefully post-COVID, there's some incredible work that we've put together already, and I'm extremely excited to talk about it in just a moment. Now, one of the 20 HISD team members devoted to dropout prevention and recovery is Asia Duhan-Guillory. She's a support, go ahead and give her a big round of applause. Asia is a support system for each student that she interacts with that's in need, whether it's transportation, daycare, uniforms, or any other alternative program to accommodate work schedules. Asia offers solutions to get them back engaged. Now, Erin Streamer is a HISD graduation coach at Madison High School. Yes. She partners with Asia on home visits because she knows and has connected personally with students and their families on her campus who are at risk of dropping out. And it's important that we have those lasting relationships to bring those students back in. So we're indebted to the work that they do, and we're really excited about the investments of individuals like them that we have in this school district. Now, They show these students on a daily basis who need someone to believe in them, even when they don't believe in themselves, that HISD believes in them, and we will never give up on them until they move forward and get across that stage. And even at that time, we'll still be there for them. Now, Leroy Phillips, our next individual that I'd like to spotlight, is the wraparound specialist at Shady Dale Elementary. Since the beginning of this school year, he has been helping HISD families, and a specific family, that 3 children that have recently moved here from Honduras. Through our wraparound services, they've been able to get school uniforms, school supplies, meals on a weekly basis, groceries. Mr. Phillips makes sure that their needs are met with regular check-ins. When students and families are struggling outside of the walls of school, it's most likely that they're going to struggle inside of the walls of school. The wraparound team on the front lines of families and support make learning possible for many students on a daily basis. This is just a fraction of the accomplishments of HISD staff and students in the last year. And we celebrate these bright lights and all the work being done every day. Now, we are also extremely fortunate with a myriad of community partners to do the important work of supporting and improving this school district. Now, one of those partners is the G-Unit Business Lab, which works in collaboration with HISD and Horizon United to support 3 HISD high schools. Those high schools are Kashmir High School, Wheatley High School, and Worthing High School. These schools support 20 students each, providing business and development training from some of the most visionary entrepreneurs in the country. The G-Unit Business Lab also collaborates with Microsoft, Capital One, JP Morgan, AT&T, Exotic Pop, She's Happy Hair, and several other businesses to provide enrichment opportunities to the students that we're working with on a daily basis in the G-Unit Laboratory. These students have participated in the Flex Hustle, which is the University of Houston's incubation phase to help with the development of their prototypes. And the prototypes will go through something called the Hustle Tank. If you've heard of Shark Tank, a very similar concept, but better. From the Hustle Tank, one of the 12 groups of students who will be selected by Mr. Curtis Jackson himself as winners will be provided with seed money to launch their business lab. Now, we're very fortunate to have the G-Unit Business Lab and Mr. Curtis Jackson himself here today to support us. So, Mr. Jackson, from me to you, brother, thank you for your support and continued focus for our children. It's partners like him and the partners that he has attracted that continue to help us go. I started my path at HISD just 9 months ago, and it's amazing how fast this time has gone. It truly, the old adage of it's moving fast, or time moves fast when you're having fun. We are truly having fun. Now, where it has been during that time has been all about what we know we have to turn to. And we have to turn our attention to the road ahead. And I'm extremely hopeful about the road ahead. I'm clear-eyed as well about what lies ahead of us. I see some promise. I see potential. But it's very clear to me that we must choose where we want to go. We cannot improve if we do not acknowledge the need for improvement. To see the true state of our schools, we must face some hard truths, and we must make some important choices for the future. We must acknowledge that HISD has lost more than 20,000 students in the last several years. Too many families do not believe the district is the right choice for their children. We have 24 schools, unfortunately, that have persistently underperformed for quite some time. They must improve, or HISD will continue to lie under the threat of state intervention, and children will not get the tools that they need to be successful in this global economy. In our most recent staff survey, nearly a third of our teachers said that they seriously are considering leaving HISD in the next year. There's also data out there that shows that 45,000 educators in the state of Texas are thinking about that same choice. That would be an educational crisis, not only in Texas, but right here in HISD, and it would be very difficult for us to recover from that. So with that said, we must acknowledge the inequities across our different campuses. It's extremely important that we know that many of our students are vulnerable, limited in their opportunities around enrichment, and have failed our students with special education in some cases, and that's going to be a very important element as we move forward. It's personal to me, because as many of you know, I grew up with exceptionalities, with dyslexia, and believe it or not, a speech impediment growing up in elementary school. Our financial systems, as we know and have heard, have been plagued by short-term budget gimmicks that mask the structural deficit, lacks oversight, allowing for waste, abuse in some cases, and criminal fraud to drain scarce dollars from our classrooms and from our children. We must acknowledge that this too has been the state of our schools before we start making important choices that will make this district better, stronger as we move towards the future. The choices that we must make are important. They will take extremely hard work, but they are not hard choices in my eyes. Every day when I wake up, I come to work with the idea, I get in that office at about 6:15, 6:30 every morning, and I think about and ask myself every morning, are the choices that I'm going to make good for kids or good for adults? And every choice I try to make has to be and will be focused on kids. We must choose. We must choose not to waste our potential in HISD, and there's some incredible potential in our district. HISD can and will be the kind of school system that propels its students forward to the future. But that can only happen if we come together to make the important choices that will get us where we need to go. Now, many of you have already heard about our 5-year strategic vision for HISD in the future, and I'm extremely invigorated by the response from many of those that are in the community as we launch this 5-year plan. And I want to be very clear, very clear. I will need every single one of you here today to work with us to make this a reality for our children. HISD needs your hard work, needs your strategic mind, your support, and most importantly, we will need the accountability from you so that we can move forward to support our families, our kids, and the community that we serve on a daily basis. Now, to borrow a quote from our Chief of Schools, Dr. Denise Watts, my team leads by learning. Our 5-year strategic plan is shaped by the voices of internal and external stakeholders. As we went into our communities and listened and learned from parents and students and teachers, campus to campus, we begin to shape the path forward in this plan for our schools and for our school district. Our plan is built on a set of core values and aspirations that will put students first and restore the trust and demand more excellence in terms of innovation, educational opportunities for all of our students and families. My team has put together 6 foundational commitments to the HISD community. These commitments will allow us to meet and ensure that we exceed the district's board goals, improve student success, and rebuild a district that truly meets the needs of all students in every school, in every neighborhood on a daily basis. HISD must work to rebuild trust with families, staff, and community. We commit to building strong and reliable relationships with our internal and external community. Our district and our schools will be transparent, will welcome and be responsible stewards of our public resources as well. The lack of financial transparency and impropriety that eroded confidence in HISD cannot happen again. We've already made many personnel and policy changes that remedy some of the previous financial mismanagement. And we will get HISD back on the plan to financial stability. Now, we commit to making these needs of families and students we serve number one in terms of priority, and we will make the important choices necessary to execute on that. We've already begun the process of recreating the parent and family experience in HISD, and every HISD employee will understand that we are advocates for our families and that they are partners in everything that they do and we do as partners. We presented the Board of Education with a plan to return to a sustainable budget practice and keep students at the center of everything that we do, as I mentioned earlier. The years of structural deficits and short-term budget gimmicks are over. As the leader of this school district, it's imperative for me that every HISD student have access to a school that meets all of the needs all of the time. We commit to providing equitable opportunities and resources at every school. We want every family to have confidence that their children will have the necessary extracurricular and co-curricular experiences as they need to be and move forward with the opportunities that they deserve. We are building a foundational HISD student experience. We'll centralize budgets for fine arts, athletics, academic extracurricular activities so that students have access to these opportunities regardless of which school that they attend. We will also ensure that every school will have a nurse, library, media specialist, and also an art, music, or other fine arts teacher. We will also expand the number of teaching assistants, particularly at the pre-K level. Now, our revised campus funding model will distribute resources equitably, provide additional resources for the unique needs of students on each campus. We'll give them valuable time back. And when I say valuable time back, I mean valuable time back to our principals. For too long, they've played the role of accountants and CPAs on their campuses, and we want to ensure that they can focus on the quality of teaching and learning in their buildings and in their classrooms. We will provide every HISD student a quality school close to where they live. It's interesting, I've read some research specifically on the pre-K level that explains that students that live more than 2 miles away from their neighborhood experience sometimes will not take advantage of the neighborhood experience. So every family, as we know and should, have the right to expect that we provide them with a high-quality education in their neighborhood. Now, at the same time, we will work with communities and families to expand the impact of our magnet and specialty programs. We will also create new schools and experiences to meet the needs of students throughout the entire district. Now, first, we must improve all of our DRF-rated campuses permanently. We will be implementing a bold strategy of transforming 24 of our lowest performing schools. This will not be a one-size-fits-all strategy, but will be tied to the specific needs of those campuses. Next, we will make sure that all students but especially those living in communities that have not had access to schools of choice, that they are provided the kind of opportunities of learning and experiences that many haven't in the past. We will improve timeliness and fairness of transparency in reference to the access of our magnet selection schools and the enrollment process that parents and students go through. All schools will expand opportunities and access for after-school programs, advanced placement courses, and field trips as well. Our families deserve these important items. We have important choices to make moving forward, but we will create systems of schools across this city that meet these unique needs for our students. Every successful school and every successful school district is built on high-quality teaching and learning. Every student in an HISD classroom, regardless of whether it's from pre-K to graduation, will and should get access to high-quality learning materials and instruction that has them mastering grade-level skills. We will put a new pilot in place with math materials in 40 of our elementary schools and middle schools as well, starting the 22-23 academic year, and I'm extremely excited about that. The research tells us that you have to have quality curriculum, quality professional development in front of students. We will also refresh our Ready by 3 initiative by piloting a literacy curriculum that will address phonics instruction in both English and in Spanish. We will increase the number of quality pre-K classrooms and make it easier for families to enroll. We will give more students access to the rigorous coursework that prepares them for the life beyond high school. We will offer we will offer more pre-AP and the idea of avid curriculum at more of our middle schools and high schools throughout the district. This will ensure that student success is necessary and moves forward in the manner, especially when we talk about professional development and the support that professional development plays in this important 5-year plan. Now, it is extremely necessary to ensure that our students receive all of these pieces of the puzzle in order to be successful, and I'm very excited about what it looks like. Now, on top of leverage partnerships, and I want to repeat that because I have partners in the room right now, and as we move forward over the course of the next year, we'll be planning several different things. And those partnerships, whether it be universities or other companies, you will be a very important part of this plan as we move towards the future. Universities, we're hoping to have them to provide tutors, help students master the material of learning and study habits that they will need to be successful adults. Fine arts education will be a right, not a privilege. And we will invest in the new instruments necessary to repair existing musical equipment, replace band uniforms, repair high school theaters, and repair and replace dance studio floors. We will expand our partnership with arts organizations across the city, provide more student access to the arts. HISD will and should provide every student with special education needs with the right services at the right time, regardless of which school that they attend. Students with special needs need to have special support that's specifically designed for them. A plan for education services will be developed, and that plan and its supports will follow the students to each campus, regardless of where they attend. We will be extremely focused on what it is to be goal setters. Students with special education needs have the right to access grade-level teaching material, regardless of the classroom that they're in, to achieve the high-level success that they deserve. We will work as a team to ensure curriculum providers are responsive to requirements for the embedded supports for co-teachers, specialized programs, teachers, and teachers of emergent bilingual students. For HISD to deliver on any of the previous 5 commitments and become a world-class district, we need to recruit, retain, and empower world-class talent. We must recruit more talent right here to Houston. And because of this amazing city, that shouldn't be so hard. We must support and reward staff that are already here and are doing the work at a high level as well. The early years of our talent plan, focusing on finally providing a competitive compensation plan for our teachers, is going to be extremely important as well. Our talent team has already previewed a multi-year compensation plan that, when fully implemented, can pay our teachers and staff competitively and reward their greatness. I repeat, reward their greatness. We must make funds available to incentivize our educators, and that's where our partners come in, to ensure that staff who choose to work in the highest need schools and will provide the kind of incentives that will keep them there for years to come. This commitment will require us to prioritize resources much differently over the next several years. But HISD will be a destination for exceptional talent, and we will make the important choices necessary to make that happen in the future. Now, before I close, I want to acknowledge some of our community and elected officials who are really a part of this big team that make us go and make our city move forward. I'd like to quickly recognize and thank again our Board of Trustees for their tireless work on behalf of students and staff and community members in Houston. Another special thanks to our President, Judith Cruz, for stepping into the role of President of our board. Thank you, Judith, and we look forward to the future. As I mentioned earlier, Elizabeth Santos, Kathy Bluford-Daniels, Danny Hernandez, Dr. Patricia Allen, Sue Dygard, Kendall Baker, Bridget Wade, and Myrna Guidry. I would like to call ourselves the team of 10 because it takes all of us to move this work forward. And one of the things that we are committed to do is getting better as time moves forward. Now, to drive this work and improve student outcomes, it truly will take everybody continuously improving over the course of time. Now, while we may have a spirited debate about the how from time to time, I know we all agree on the why. And that means our kids are the reason for the season that we have to focus on. From me to you, trustees, please know that I value who you are, the volunteerism that you put forward on a daily basis, and I know the work is not easy for you either, definitely. Now, to our newest trustees, because we've had 2 trustees to just walk into the fire real quick, I want to thank Trustee Bridget Wade and Kendall Baker. I was the new kid on the block about 9 months ago, so I've passed the baton to you guys, and you've picked it up real quick, and you're learning and developing with us as a team, and we appreciate you. We also have some of our elected officials in the house today, business and faith and community leaders joining us as well. So at this time, if that category matches who you are, can you please stand? And last but not least, I'd like to thank the HISD Foundation. Matt, where are you? It's been an honor and a pleasure to get to know you and Catherine as we move forward to support the work that's ahead in HISD. Now, before my first State of the Schools address comes to an end, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you all to be a part of the road ahead for HISD. I believe our 5-year plan builds a framework for investing in world-class talent, getting every student at or above grade level, ensuring all families have access to foundational experiences, and will make HISD the destination for students and families for the future. The hard work is ahead. The important choices are ahead. But these items are ahead in an effort to transform this school district to be the best it can and should be. It will not be easy, and I cannot do this alone. We need each of you to stand by us and work with us, and most importantly, to hold us accountable. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your continued support of HISD and our students. Let's get to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to our stage the Executive Director of the Houston ISD Foundation, Ms. Catherine Smith.
Thank you,